All right, we are back. So, as you've seen from the last video, you know everything that's going on as far as the trucks being stopped. So here's what I think we're going to do today. So we got this open area right here. Dylan needs this area to take his to get his Trans Am up and get the rear end transmission and all out. And there's a good possibility that that truck cab on the rotisserie won't fit underneath the Trans Am with it all the way up. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and put the cab back on the frame and finish up the welding of the rocker and stuff off of another lift that I've got. And that way we can move on, because with this back off of the rotisserie, then this whole area will be open and get the rear end transmission out of his car, and everybody will be happy. He's been waiting for a while to get his car in and disassemble it. He's got a lot of upgrades to do, so y'all stay tuned for that. But we've only got one 2-post lift, and he's been waiting for a while, so we're going to get him fixed up today. But anyway, stay tuned. We're going to put this thing back on the frame. For those of you that see this video that haven't seen the previous videos, let me explain to you what's going on real quick. We took the cab off of the frame, built a structure for the rotisserie, but the client has changed his mind or backed out, however you want to look at it. So we're going to finish welding in just this one side. We're not going to touch the other side. He said just put it back together so that he could drive it. So this morning I come in and I'm getting ready to lift it up off of the rotisserie. What I had done, drilled through my square tubing to where it would mount to the body there. And then also, see if I can get you. Also, I drilled a hole through the square tubing so that it could mount to the body there. But if you'll notice, I cut it at an angle of 45 so that the bolt could come out. We should be good to go. And just like that, this contraption that I made for a C10, I'm probably going to save it, because I've got more square tubing. I could cut this apart, but that would be crazy, because if I stay in business, there's a good possibility that I'll use this again for a cab. Because actually I have got one of these trucks down the hill that I haven't worked on. But here's what it was initially in for. For those of you that's new to the channel, I looked this morning, we had 1,681, I think's what it was. But yeah, all of this is rotten. So this frame, what I had done is, you can see the pieces that slide onto the rotisserie, they're slid up in here about that far, and then I just run a screw just to keep anything from possibly vibrating and pulling apart. Because if you take those 2 screws out and then loosen up that center section, it'll all pull apart. We'll get it apart in a little bit. You can see where I welded in I hadn't completely welded it in yet. But what we'll do is we'll put this truck back together, and I'll be able to work on the welding and whatever situation with it on the frame. And then when Dylan gets done with his car, if I need to bring it back over here and raise it up so that I can get in under here, then I will. Kind of put me in a pickle because I had plans, this was going to carry me on through the winter as far as just working on it here and there. I wasn't planning on working on it every day anyway. But sometimes people change their mind, and I think what bothered him was once we got it off and got it apart and got the doors and stuff off, you can see that whole corner is made nothing but fiberglass. And I think that kind of scared him away. I understand. As you can see, the frame is successfully back inside the building. But if you look through the window out there, if I can get it to zoom, you can't see. Let me show you. We pulled it up the hill with the tractor, right? And I thought for sure that my tractor would fit underneath, but guess what? It wouldn't. So, how did y'all get that up in there, you might ask? Well, at one time we had a four-wheeler that I used to, get things moved around before I bought a tractor. But then I sold the four-wheeler. So how did you get it in there? Well, look, there is the rope. What's it hooked to? The old handy-dandy Saturn. $500 car, been driving it for about 2.5 years. Air conditioned, heat, can't beat it. All right, we are successfully back down on the frame. We each got us a bolt drop down through the cab, through the new bushing and into the frame. The backs come in from the bottom, so once the truck goes back on the the lift, will space it up. They had it spaced up for the trim to match up, and we'll get it back to the way they had it. Slide that. I'm not going to slide the bed back into the cab like they had it, because you can see, well, on this side over here, you can see where they had scratched it. See right there? That bolt had scratched it up. We're not going to put it back exactly like that, but because there's no sense in it continuously rubbing. But anyway, it's back on the frame, and he can have the lift for the Trans Am. We can get this baby out of the way, and then I'll weld on it as soon as I can. Well, everything's cleaned out. Now it's just time to get everything cleaned up. Truck's back down the hill. Saturn's out. Look, Saturn done a positive traction front end pull. You can't beat that thing. 135 horsepower, 2,000 pounds. Anyway, we are back down the hill. Cab is on, brakes and all is hooked back up, linkage, distributor cap and all is back on. Man, I really hate to have to stop on this thing, but you know what? That's just the way it is. You know what? I just had an idea. My plan was to cut and buff the 57 Chevy truck fenders and then try to get this one in behind it and put it on that other lift that I've got. I may bring that other lift and set it up right here in front of this one and put it on it right here. And then all the cutting and grinding and welding can be done out here. On warm days. I wouldn't want to come out here in freezing cold, but that's a pretty good idea. And then it can sit right here on the lift until until it's done. Y'all hadn't seen that lift yet. It's a little Titan, I can't think of what you call it. It's good for about 7,000 pounds in it, but it comes up, it fits right under the truck and lifts it up so that well, just stay tuned. Y'all see it, because I think that'd be a pretty good idea. Set it up right there, scoot the truck over closer, and finish it up right here. There you have it. This is the Titan. It's a mid-rise lift. See how it works? The only downfall to this lift is if you're going to use it a lot, where those wheels roll in and out when you go up and down a lot, it cuts grooves. It starts marking up your concrete. But I mean, I'm not planning on having it up and down a lot, I don't think. But we shall see. Be hard to paint that cab corner, which I'm gonna cut out. It'll be hard to fix it because the bed's close to it, but this is just something that I had to do to get it out of the booth. But this is the lift, and I mean, it works great. And then you just let it down and it catches the latch in the middle. Bought this thing years and years ago, but it does pretty good. I've used it a lot throughout the years until I was able to move up to a 4-post lift and up to a 2-post lift. But this one here is the ultimate for, I think, body work, wet sanding and buffing, tire rotation, brake jobs, rear end jobs, anything that, like, you could do a transmission job off of this one, but it wouldn't be, well, it'd be about impossible. But you can see everything that it would do. I mean, it works really, really good. Some people will say, well, it'll turn over, and it might. But praise God, I hadn't never had it to. So y'all stay tuned. We'll get this rocker on sometime or another.